All right, so welcome back again. It's time for market preview. So as usual, we'll review what happened last week, and then we'll dive into what to expect in the present week. So we'll start from trading view. So when we go here, we can look at our um, fractal OF, right? So I mentioned on that day while we were looking at this, we saw that the last thing that was broken to the downside was this, right? This was the last thing that was broken to the downside, right? So as long as that was the last thing that was broken to the downside, we're expecting a sell, right? We're expecting a sell to happen. And of course, that's Monday we had a gap up that basically ran up to go take out those heights and then began to reverse from there. So if we go to our USD basket, we are basically expecting a situation where price will come take out this fractal high, right, and then give us a reason to sell. Again, that did not happen, and then we just got a sell-off from Monday down all the way. All right. So I also mentioned our volume trend was still bearish, right? So the volume trend was bearish, fractal OF was bearish, and then we had this sell-off. Also, there was this gap that needed to be filled, and of course, everything was filled up. On the flip side, we had this. Our swing short gave us inconclusive, right? Swing short was giving us inconclusive. And you know when we have inconclusive on swing shots, then we're expecting a fractal high to form or a fractal low to form, and then for it to be taken out, and then we'll begin to trade in the opposite direction. So when that happened, right here, just check it out. This was on, I think this was on Tuesday. Let's confirm that. So this was on Tuesday. Took it out, right? And then we didn't get any trades on Tuesday. However, on Wednesday, we actually had a reason to um, getting on trades. And we took losses actually here. And in the team in FXP, we actually took some losses right here before this move actually started. So right after taking us out, then the move basically began. So it's the way trading it's basically just roll with the punches. However, the interesting thing was that while all this was happening on Tuesday, right, this thing was happening and we were getting this bearish move. Volume was basically tilting towards the bullish side. And I told them the FXP group at the end of Tuesday or towards the end of Tuesday that it's very likely that except sellers step back into the market, right, and then really push the USD all the way down, that we are likely going to have a volume trend change, right? So saying this publicly. So any of them in the FXP group could either validate that or come and say I did what I was saying is not true, right? So we basically had that, and then on Thursday, by the close of Thursday, our volume trend turned bullish. So Thursday night, our volume trend turned bullish, right? So from Friday, we were then looking for opportunities to buy the USD. And of course, if we are looking to buy the USD, then you know we are looking to do what? Sell EU and sell GU as well. So that was basically the play that we had the week. So looking at this at the moment, Fractal OF is still bearish, right? Another reason why a bit more confident in this volume trend change is the fact that we've actually taken out this fractal low here, right? We ran out those lows right before the move up started, which is what you generally want to see when you see a trend change. I won't be surprised if we still come and have another sweep, right? This nearly equal lows that we have here, have another sweep to the downside. It may not happen. But basically, we've turned bullish on the volume trend on Thursday. All right, our fractal OF remains bearish, and swing short is also bearish, right? So, how are we going to play this? So, let's look at fractals. So, the first thing you could see is that we already have a confirmed fractal high here. So, if price should push all the way up here, take this out, then we'll be looking for reasons to sell off the fractal OF and the swing short. So of the fractal OF and the swing short, we'll be looking for reasons to sell. We'll go into our lower time frames. There are different ways we look at selling, right? So whichever one that suits you, make sure you've tested whatever thing you want to use. All right, so the other thing you can see is that we have a fractal low that's almost forming here, right? So we have this fractal low forming. At the close of this candle, this will become a confirmed fractal low. So at the end of today, at market rollover, this would have become a confirmed fractal low if something doesn't happen that causes the USD to dump lower. So again, if you just come tomorrow, take this out and then push up. So basically what we're going to be looking to do is to play whichever side, whichever hand we are dealt with. And so whichever hand the market gives us, we are going to be ready to play that particular hand. So if we take this out, then we'll be looking to buy. And if we take this out, then we'll be looking to sell. So remember, we're looking to buy off the volume trend, and we're looking to sell off fractal OF and the swing shots. So when it comes to the markets, you basically, one of the things I see a lot of traders trying to do is taking their ego on the markets, taking their I know this will happen like this. You don't know. You cannot fully know what will happen, right? So if you've ever read Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, you realize that one of the things that you need to understand from a psychological point of view to just help you is to know that you don't exactly know what will happen at any point in time. You don't fully know. You could have some set of indicators, some set of things that point you in a particular direction, but anything could happen. Donald Trump could tweet, right? That's what we are dealing with at the moment. So anything could basically happen that causes the market to move against you. Especially in the short term. In the short term. Now, in the longer term, it's more easy to predict where the market is going as you begin to go out in time. But in the short term, you can't say exactly this was going to happen. So that's why you always manage risk, right? You always manage risk. So, and that's why your strategy should be able to tell you, if this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. That's basically how you frame a system, right? I know I promised that we are going to start the series that we started last year, which is building profitable systems. We are going to resume it. It's going to be free as usual, as it has been for the channel. How do you build profitable systems? So we've looked at different ways you could look at your buyers and all that. Then we'll be going into how do you now decide at what points do you really begin to engage with the market, right? So that's basically what we're looking at this week. Let's look at, before we jump into the fundamentals, something I like to look at, which is the bond yields. Bond yields for now is still bearish as well, which is the reason why taking those fractal OF and swing short trades might still be good. So usually, I was discussing with someone from the FX group today, and one of the things that we noticed or we have observed over time is whenever you have the volume trend and the fractal OF in the same direction, right, it's telling you exactly the same thing. You get very, very good moves. You get very, very strong moves in one direction. However, when they are opposed like this, you tend to get ranges, right? Which is something that lends to what we are seeing in the chart at the moment, right? Where one strategy is telling us to buy, another one is telling us to sell, right? So those kind of things are going to be happening around this period until we have a very, very clear direction in which to head to. So that could possibly come if we're able to go above this point, right, and break this level to the upside. All right, let's look at the economic calendar so that this video is not too long. So on Tuesday, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, is going to be talking, right? He's going to be talking in the evening, my time, right? I think that's the only thing we have there. That's a high impact news event. Inflation rates of US, that's CPI on Wednesday. So this is what is, I believe, going to likely what is going to likely um, create one of the major moves of the week. Somehow, I've not. I need to get. I'm going to drop a comment under this video what my predictions will be for the CPI. So last week I mentioned that for the NFP, I was expecting the numbers to come in lower than what it was the last time, right? And what it was last time, but I didn't know by how much it will come in lower. And so that since market forecast was also already predicting that we did not have room to trade that, right? So we only trade when our expectations differ from what the consensus is, right? So for this CPI, I'm going to drop what I believe um, should happen, right, under this particular video because I forgot to check uh, the gauge that I used to measure this before this particular video. So CPI on Wednesday, and on Thursday we are going to have the GBP, GDP. So that was I actually did that play of words. So the GBP, GDP, right? So we're going to see the GDP growth rates of the UK, right? And that will likely move a lot, do a lot to the British pound. And then we have the initial jobless claims on Thursday, as well as the PPI, PPI on Thursday as well. All right. All right. So I decided to just bring this in, right? So I've looked at it. No need to drop any further comments. The inflation rate month on month is supposed to come in lower than the previous, which is already what consensus is expecting, right? So I'm basically going to be sitting this one out because there might be a whipsaw. The reason why there might be a whipsaw is that the core inflation rate is expected to, okay, not the core, what was that? Okay, the CPI itself is expected to go up, right? So we might see a situation where there's a bit of a whipsaw, right? Goes up, comes down sharply within a very short period of time. But basically, I'm going to be expecting this inflation rate month on month, right, to come in lower than the previous um, month. All right, so let's go to Fridays. What do we have on Friday? Employment change for the Eurozone. This doesn't usually do anything. And then we have retail sales data from the US on Friday as well. So that's basically its key market mover for this week. The CPI, the GDP data from the UK, and then the jobless claims from the US on Thursday as well. All right, so that's all for this week. Remember to stay safe, trade your plan, and have a wonderful trading week.